welcome back. 8 good minutes. David Hall with a couple of, shall I even dare to say, celebrity guests today.
Oh.
And I'll tell you about what I mean by that in a second. Mr. Dustin Walker and Mr. Jim Bentley are here with me today on 8 good minutes. Gentlemen, how are you?
Pleasure to be here. Having a great day.
Yeah, pleasure to be here a second time now. Am I the first second-time guest?
No, you're not.
No,
Okay.
I was on the first one.
Okay, never mind then. I thought I was one up in someone, but
You're like fourth second-time guest.
Seems on brand.
Yes, I like that. Bentley's a character. Learning a lot about Bentley recently, by the way, and I just need to digress from the podcast for a second. This man stacked pizza boxes up to about, I want to say...
They were 2x4s.
I thought it was pizza boxes.
2x4s.
Oh, up to belly button high?
It might have been a little bit high. It was up there.
And leaped them in the office.
Correct. That was a few years ago, a couple knees ago.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
That's a different
Correct.
podcast. We're going to talk about words matter today, guys. You know, every week on the podcast, we cover a different subject of something that we maybe feel passionately about. We've talked about sort of a lot of subjects, leadership, mentorship, and, you know, words matter is always been a really important thing to me. I'm not even 100% why, but it is. And I thought we might explore that today in terms of, you know, words that you choose to use, words that you don't use. I have this one sort of staple for some reason that I developed years ago. And, you know, I always talked about my folks that I worked with on their mortgage as a client. I never referred to them as a customer. And I think that the term client to me connotates hopefully they're going to come back. Mm-hmm. And it's a long-standing relationship. Mm-hmm. And that was what I was always trying to develop with folks. I always thought of a customer as somebody that, you know, walked into a CVS and got a toothbrush for $2.98 and somebody checked them out with the scanner. You know what I mean? That's more of a customer. A client was, I don't know, it had ramifications in my mind that was much greater than, and I think when you're trying to accomplish things, and this is where I want to talk to you guys as well about, is when you're trying to accomplish things, the words that you say and what you want to project are an important part of getting you to where you want to go, you know. And I think a lot of folks, they don't spend a lot of time on the words, but I think the words and the things that we say and think about, they all manifest themselves, and then it becomes what you want it to become. And so, like, within that context, I was wondering if you guys had similar words or how you think about that concept, because I think it's a really important and under-talked about thing.
So I'm going to bring up one quickly. You hear a lot, especially in a tougher market, right? There's all these problems or all these concerns, and I learned this from Jason Wagner. They're challenges. So, and that's something, not even speaking to someone else, but to me, in my mindset, a problem, just kind of, it's a problem, you push it aside, but a challenge, I want to solve it.
Yeah.
Like, and that just keeps me driven to go, this is a challenge that I'm going to.
And it's sort of just a pivot on how you approach it based on what you call it.
Based on, exactly, 100%.
I love that. Yeah.
Challenge needs a solution, right?
Yeah.
So problem, that weighs a lot heavier.
It does.
It's a lot more to overcome, I think. So, you know, coming from, 15, 20 years in hospitality, obviously words have always mattered to me.
5-star hospitality.
5-star hospitality. I've got a lot of those stars. So, one thing that was always taught to me by like an early mentor in hospitality was, we never say customer, like same concept, with people that are coming into your establishment. It's always a guest, right? Because a guest is all about experience.
Yeah.
Same thing with us, with clients. It's an experience. We're really, really pushing for them to come back, for their families to come back, that they're going to recommend them. So it is a long-term relationship building thing. And whenever we use that term to each other, it's behind the scenes, right? So the client doesn't know whether we're calling them a customer or not. Mm-hmm. But it's all about the culture in our office. It's about the culture of how we treat them behind the scenes. Because if it's all just a show on the phone or, in email, there's only so long that facade can stand, mm-hmm. right? We have to really live how we treat our clients behind the scenes and how we're going to be putting towards things, putting our best efforts. And I think Jim, when I first came onto this company, was the first one to really edify that for me, as the director of client service when I first got here, was it's what we live. It's not just a show on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's very well said. I pick up things from people that they do, and then I incorporate them into my game. So I noticed a lot of times I would go places that were like, like a nice restaurant, or maybe if I went to a place that was like Disneyland, or something that where the service is off the charts. And when I would thank somebody for something, I noticed this many years ago. When a lot of times people say you're welcome, but I started liking it when people said, "Of course." Like, "Of course" is a great response to like a thank you. It's like, "Of course." It's like, yeah, that's what I do. And I started doing that to people a little bit, and it feels good. So if you come up to me and say, "Hey, I really appreciate that you did that," of course. And I don't know, it changes the course of the conversation.
It
a
does.
little bit.
Or no problem, I
Yeah.
think, is always one of those things that I've always steered away from.
Yeah.
Is like, well, of course, it shouldn't have been a problem for you. Well, I didn't ask that much from you. So that was another, thing that it was always like in my mind is like, let's not say no problem. Let's say my pleasure, of
Yeah,
course,
of
that type of
course.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think that also when it comes to, David, when I say, I work with David Hall, right? I don't work for David Hall. I think that is a
I agree.
huge,
Yeah.
that's, I think that's a huge thing in terms of what my own personal mindset is, he's my partner. I'm helping him get his goals. He's helping me hit my goals. That's huge to me too. That's the words that I choose to use when I'm describing what I do.
I like it. And Bentley, I don't, I got a comment on that. When I talk about our company, because it's just how I think about things, it's like it's like we're all working together. You know what I mean? Like I work with Katie, like, or I work with, Walk, or, I think that's absolutely, because that's got to be your approach to things, because you got to do things with people and get them to help you to accomplish your goals. I love that.
And I agree and want to expound on that there's so many times where it's just human nature. You're told to do this, you just do it. And then you kind of have to break out of that and go, no, this is all of us. I'm not just one number here. I'm part of the team. And if I feel something needs to be done, I'm going to speak up and work with people on the challenges versus the problems. And we're going to figure it out together and become better together.
Yeah. I think for me, early in my days of people coming to my office many years ago and maybe coming in the door of my office saying, "Hall, I got a problem with you," and I'd be like, "All right, have a seat. Let's talk about it." You know what I mean? It's like when you learn to disarm people a little bit, then you learn to create sort of a relationship of, okay, we're going to talk these things out and we're going to work together on them. And I think you start to sort of think about your words, and because you don't want to inflame situations, you want to disarm them, and you don't want to have
words can disarm. That's the only really way to disarm people, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only way to compromise.
Yeah. So if you clear the pizza boxes today, I'd like to think it was pizza boxes.
It's funny. I want to set it up.
I want to do it,
but I got to bring in I should bring in my tennis shoes. But
why? What do you got on today?
Just some heavy dress shoes.
I know, but you said you
Barefoot.
you just
I'll do it.
Barefoot.
You think you're a premier athlete. We'll
I
put
think
it
I
up there
was
together.
a premier athlete.
And when you leap it, you're going to say, "Of course."
Of course.
Of course.
What's
Yeah.
closer, Royal
that's
Oak Beaumont
humility.
or Troy Beaumont? Which one are we closer to right here?
It's fun. Your thing reminds me of my kids. That people tell them, "Oh, you're so cute," and no, I don't tell them to say thank you. I say, "I know." It's a little different. It's a little, but I want them to be confident. Like, I know I'm cute.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Good. I like that.
On brand. That's on brand.
Last thing, I'll let you guys get out of here. A word or a phrase or something that we haven't talked about yet that maybe resonates, that you either use when you talk to a real estate agent or when you talk to a client, or something that you go to. I know I have a couple things that I say that I like, because it kind of hopefully portrays, who I am or who we are, because I like to talk about how we're solutions oriented. And I say, we don't run into problems a lot, but when we do, we solve them. That's what we do. And so it's like, I'd like to create a confidence about the things that, things pop up all the time in our business, and then we're solutions oriented, and I go to that a lot, and I try not to make it cliched, and then I try to give an example with it so it's not cliched. I don't know if you guys have anything that you talk about or go to when you're talking to clients or agents.
There's one thing I like to say a lot when in speaking with clients, and I'm giving them options, right? Like, ultimately, it's their decision. There's something powerful in sales on getting them to decide, even though I'm kind of maybe influencing that decision. But I like to say, I want to put this in front of you so you can decide which option is better for you.
Right.
And it may be this one, it may be the other one, but we'll come up with that together, and I want to help you decide that. So then it kind of puts like I said, behind the scenes, maybe I have the influence.
Yeah, well, there's no
but-
pressure then on them, right? They get to decide for themselves.
Right, and
yeah.
then they're going, okay, Jim said I got to choose between one of these. It's their choice. There's something powerful when they feel like it's and it is their choice.
Yeah.
But I like to position it that way.
When I go to a restaurant, by the way, I want the waiter to decide because I feel
100%.
like he knows what I should get. So I want him to decide for me. Walk, anything you got on this?
Yeah, I really think that it's just super important to give people that autonomy, right?
Yeah.
That they feel that they're guiding this. You're guiding, but they're deciding.
Yeah.
And I think that using words that empower somebody like that, I'm here to help you with your goals, right? It's not my goal. It's not my goal to close the deal.
Right.
It's my goal to help this client achieve their financial goals.
I'm going to put this plan together to help you get to your goal, which you told me.
Jim Bentley, Dustin Walker, I'm David Hall. 8 good minutes. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank
Chief.
you.
That's a wrap. Here we go. It's
Okay, hold on. I'm recording. Recording.
tricky. It's tricky to rock around,
Let's do this for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's very vital.
All right, podcast episode 9.